Hi, and welcome to a quick thought episode of the Teach for the Heart podcast, where you'll get a powerful idea or word of encouragement in a short, to-the-point format. Here we go. Today, I want to share with you the importance of keeping your expectations high. I'm going to share a personal story to illustrate, and then I'll explain the lesson. So, when I was teaching, I wanted students to have a green pen to grade. Green was great because it was obviously not pencil, or even if someone used pen, it was easy to see what was the student correcting and what was the student's original work. And then if I used red, it would also distinguish what was me. So I wanted students to have a green pen. And the purpose of this podcast is not to get into the debate of whether you should supply writing utensils for your students. We will shelve that for another time, but it's just, stick with me. This is my illustration, okay? So I wanted students to have green pens. But what I found was that when I required them to have green pens, maybe 80% of the students would, but there was always that 10 to 20% that would not have a green pen. They would normally have a blue or a black pen though. But they didn't have the green pen. So one year I was saying, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. I'm tired of trying to force them to have a green pen and always having to keep track of who does and who doesn't. And this is just too big of a headache. So I am going to just require that they have any color pen to grade. It will work out just fine. And so that's what I did. But do you know what happened? I was expecting that, okay, I don't want to fight this battle. If I lower the expectation, then we should be good to go. But what happened, and this just unfortunately is human nature, was that the students, the 80% had a pen, but the same 20% that used to, when I needed them to have a green pen, only have a blue or black pen, now when I said any pen is fine, now they had no pen at all. And what I discovered was that the problem actually wasn't my expectation being too high. It was just a basic problem of human nature and habit where these same students weren't having their supplies regardless. They were kind of always one step below where they were supposed to be or where I wanted them to be. And once again, we're not going to digress this into a conversation about supplies. I think that's not the lesson here. The lesson is we need to be careful about arbitrarily lowering our expectation to meet the common denominator of where our students are. When we say, if you can't beat them, join them, and lower our expectation from where we know it should be, we're not going to get the results that we want, and chances are our instruction and our help of our students is going to suffer. Now, in the green pen scenario, that really wasn't a big deal. This is just an illustration, okay? The application of this is in much more important things. When we have expectations for how our students will respect each other, how they will interact with each other and with us, for what they will learn, for what they will accomplish, for the quality of work that they can produce. Don't lower that expectation just because 10% of the kids aren't measuring up. Continue to keep those expectations high and pull students up. Call them up to the standard. Now, of course, you should be careful not to have unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations when I say unrealistic, I mean like you really are expecting too much. That is frustrating to everyone, not least of all your better students. So if your better students are really struggling, it might be something to consider. Is my expectation too high? So I'm just putting that thought in your mind. It is possible to place them too high, but I think the more common problem for many of us is kind of feeling pressured to lower our expectations when they shouldn't be. And so that's my encouragement to you today. If you've been thinking, should I lower this expectation? Ask yourself, this is what you need to do. Ask yourself, what is the right thing here? What should I expect of my students? And don't lower that expectation just because there's some students that aren't meeting it. Really say, what are they capable of? What is that standard that I want to call them to? And if it is a reasonable and a right standard, don't lower it. Keep it high. So that's my encouragement today. I'd love for you to join the conversation over at our Facebook group, teachfortheheart.com/Facebook. We can talk about it more over there. In the meantime, keep growing, keep trusting. You really are making a difference.